we want to be in a standing position with our heels directly below our hips. We're going to maintain retroversion of the pelvis, keep a flat lumbar spine, flat thoracic spine, your chin is tucked in, crown of the head is up, eyes are looking down at the floor to put the dura mater under tension. And then the principle of action for this first mobilization exercise, we are going to be doing Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Steven here with Team Euphoric, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to correct high arches. A high arch is when you develop an oversupination or inversion of the foot, and what that means is the medial arch of the foot is going to be excessively elevated. It's quite rare. In over 17 years, I've only treated a handful of patients that have had this issue, and it's going to be a lot more common to have flat feet. If you do happen to have flat feet, I'm going to include a link to last week's video right up over here where I taught you how to correct it. However, if you are one of those rare cases that does happen to have high arches, this is going to be the video for you, and in order to correct it, I'm going to be demonstrating 2 mobilization exercises, 2 strengthening exercises, and 2 myofascial stretching exercises to help you to correct high arches. But first, real quick, go ahead and like the video and comment down below, as it would really help me out and help out with the algorithm. And if you're either new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the content. And now let's get on with the program. The first 2 exercises are going to be mobilization exercises, and for them, the setup position is going to be identical. We want to be in a standing position with our heels directly below our hips. We're going to maintain retroversion of the pelvis, keep a flat lumbar spine, flat thoracic spine, your chin is tucked in, crown of the head is up, eyes are looking down at the floor to put the dura mater under tension. And then the principle of action for this first mobilization exercise, we are going to be doing pronation or eversion of the foot. So what you want to do is imagine that you are trying to drive the medial malleolus, or the bone on the inside of your ankle, in toward the midline. So essentially you are trying to collapse the medial arch and trying to make your foot as flat as possible. And that is for the pronation / eversion mobilization exercise for the ankle. Then the second mobilization exercise is going to be plantarflexion. Again, our heels are directly below our hips, and for this one, because we're going into plantarflexion, essentially we're doing a calf raise. So the principle of action, we want to try and drive the heels up toward the sky as high as possible. And for each of these mobilization exercises, we want to perform 20 repetitions. Then, once we've done the 20 repetitions of each, we're going to move on to the strengthening exercises. For the strengthening exercises, I have 2 for you. One of them is going to be a local strengthening exercise. The second is going to be a global strengthening exercise. For the first one, this is going to be the local, and this is going to be a strengthening exercise for the Fibularis longus. In terms of the setup position, we're going to be in a seated position. You want to go ahead and maintain retroversion of the pelvis, keep a flat lumbar spine, flat thoracic spine, your chin is going to be tucked in, the crown of your head is going to be pressing up toward the sky, your eyes are going to be looking down at the floor to put the dura mater under tension. And then the principle of action for this specific exercise is going to be a combination movement of plantarflexion and eversion. Plantarflexion by pointing your toes away from your body, and eversion pointing the sole of your foot out toward the outside. And if we want to progress the exercise and make it a little bit more challenging, we can take a resistance band, place it around our foot and ankle, and then we could go into plantarflexion and eversion while using the resistance band. And that is for the strengthening exercise for the Fibularis longus. Then the second strengthening exercise, this is going to be a global strengthening exercise for the medial compartment of the foot and ankle. For it, we're going to go ahead and get into a standing position. We want our heels directly below our hips. We're going to maintain retroversion of the pelvis, keep a flat lumbar spine, flat thoracic spine, your chin is tucked in, the crown of your head is pressing up, eyes are looking down at the floor to put the dura mater under tension. And then for this one right over here, we are going to need a dowel rod. The dowel rod, you want to keep it out to the side, and we're going to need a resistance band as well. You want to take the resistance band and wrap it around the dowel rod, and then with the other side, you want to place it right up against the medial compartment of your ankle, and you want to get enough tension that you're going to find it somewhat challenging when performing the exercise. And then for this exercise right over here, in terms of the principle of action, we are going to create a valgus force at the ankle. So once again, imagine that you are trying to collapse the medial arch, and that is the global strengthening exercise for the medial compartment of the foot and ankle. In terms of the sets and repetitions for this one, we're going to be doing 3 sets of 50 repetitions, and that's 5-0, not 1-5. The reason we're going so high with the repetitions is because we're trying to elicit a postural change, and whenever we're trying to elicit a postural change, one of the most important things is going to be accumulating enough time under tension. And if we do the typical 8 to 12 bodybuilding repetition rep range, we're not going to be able to accumulate that time under tension. So 3 sets of 50 repetitions. Then, once you've done the mobilizations and the strengthening exercises, we're going to finish off with the myofascial stretching exercises. For the myofascial stretching exercises, I have 2 for you. This first one is going to be for the anterior tibialis. For the myofascial stretching exercise of the anterior tibialis, we're going to go ahead and get into a half kneeling position, so as though you're in the bottom position of a lunge. We want to get into plantar flexion of the ankle by placing the dorsal surface of the foot, or the top portion of your foot, up on the mat. Then, at the spine, we're going to maintain retroversion of pelvis, keep a flat lumbar spine, flat thoracic, our chin is tucked in, crown of head is up, eyes are looking down at the floor to put the dura mater under tension. And then, from this position, we want to go ahead and sit down onto the calf to get as much plantar flexion in the ankle as possible, and we want to to go into eversion of the ankle by pressing the sole of our foot out toward the outside. We also want to go into external rotation of the knee by driving the heel in toward the midline. And then for the myofascial stretching exercise of the anterior tibialis, I'm going to be taking you through 4 different progressions. This first one is going to be the basic progression. Then the second progression, if you find this one a little bit easy, what we're going to do is you are going to extend the contralateral leg, or the leg opposite to the side that we're stretching. If this is still too easy for you, we're going to go ahead and raise the heel up off the mat of the contralateral leg. So now all of the weight is going to be on the ipsilateral leg, or the leg that we are stretching. And if this is still too easy for you, we're going to turn it into a bilateral exercise. So we're going to be sitting onto the calves, and we're going to have both feet in plantar flexion, and we're going to be stretching both ankles at the same time. And that is the myofascial stretching exercise for the anterior tibialis. Then the second myofascial stretching exercise is going to be for the extensor hallucis longus. For the extensor hallucis longus stretch, we're going to go ahead and get into a standing position. And for this one, we want to go ahead and get into plantar flexion of the ankle. With regard to plantar flexion, that's pointing your toes down toward the floor, and we want to take the dorsal surface, or the top portion of our foot, and we want to place it and press it down into the ground. Specifically, we want to press the big toe down into the ground. We want to create a valgus force at the ankle, and we're going to do that by pointing the sole of our foot out toward the outside, or imagine that you are trying to press your heel out toward the outside. And then what we want to do is press the knee forward. While pressing the knee forward, we also want to try and get into internal rotation of the tibia, and that is the myofascial stretching exercise for the extensor hallucis longus. And in terms of the sets and duration, we want to go ahead and do 3 sets of a 30-second hold for each of the myofascial stretching exercises. And once again, we're going to do them every single day because we're trying to elicit that postural change. If we only do them once a week or once a month, we're not going to be able to accumulate that time under tension, and we're not going to be able to elicit the change that we would like to see. So make sure that you do them every single day for 3 sets of a 30-second hold. And that is the program to correct high arches. Next week, I'm going to be showing you how to correct valgus ankles, so be out on the lookout for that next Tuesday at 2 o'clock p.m. But that's pretty much it for today's video. If you guys have any questions at all, go ahead and ask your questions down in the comment section so I can help you guys out. But that's pretty much it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to smash that like button so I know to keep making these types of videos in the future. And if you're either new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, as I will be uploading new videos every single day. That's it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you again tomorrow.